Uh, hey
Hi,
everyone,
friends.
our midweek check-in. It's me and Danielle. You are watching Danielle on Damn Digest. You have to subscribe. I'm on the left hook. We have no paywalls, but we're like Blanche Dubois. We depend on the kindness of strangers, so it's all free. If you can't pay for whatever reason, just subscribe and spread the good word. And usually we go for an hour, but today I had 30 minutes because at 2 o'clock I'm talking Mother She Wrote's Allison Gill, and then Danielle it has things to do in the city, but there's so much to talk about. And I just got this piece of news that I told Danielle. This is breaking news. The Trump administration moves to upend a $37 billion affirmative action program. The Transportation Department initiative, which began in 1983, serves an estimated 49,000 contractors and was a key lifeline for, wait for it, many minority and women owned businesses. And the Trump administration, as of 30 minutes ago, decided to dismantle one of the federal government's largest and longest standing affirmative action programs, siding with two white owned contracting businesses that challenged its constitutionality. And as this is happening, Judge Jeanine Pirro, box of wine, racist, Fox News host, just swore in as the United States District Attorney of Washington, D.C. This is on the heels of last week, where Donald Trump spread the white genocide conspiracy theory bullshit nonsense in front of South African President Ramaphosa as justification to bring in 59 white South Afrikaner refugees as they are blocking Afghan refugees from coming. You know, those same Afghans who saved U.S. forces from the Taliban. And they're looking to dismantle the temporary protected status of Cubans and Guatemalans and El Salvadorans. So tell me, Danielle, how this is not a white supremacist regime and why in the year 2025 we still have corporate media unwilling and unable to use the word racist.
So here's my feeling today. One, uh, this is nothing new. Like, and what I'm not going to do, and I think that what we all need to stop ourselves from doing is getting into debates about whether or not this is white supremacy, whether or not Donald Trump is a white nationalist, whether or not he has the power and authority to do these types of rollbacks. The fact is that this regime put together a 900 plus page manifesto on how to re-whiten America, how to reestablish patriarchy, and how to center white men back in American discourse again. Funny enough, they were never removed from the fucking center. There were just more people that were invited. And by invited, I mean fought for decades, won court cases in order to get into the space where they could be considered to be at the table as well and not just on the menu. The fact of the matter is that we know what they are doing. So the
That's right.
response needs to not be, well, can you believe that they're doing this? And like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that this is happening. And then just say to yourselves, so what is the response? What are we actually going to do? Because I'm not interested. And this is why, folks, you have not seen me on cable news in quite some time because I don't have anything to offer mealy mouth bullshit hosts that want to ask me like dumb questions and then want to pretend as if they can both sides us out of this situation. Like
Well,
I'm
can
not
I do can I
interested
do
in it.
one for you, Danielle? I'll be the host. Well,
Please.
Danielle, we just saw this news about the Trump administration ending this highly effective affirmative action program that has served so many minority and women-owned businesses. But some people are saying this is in response to Democrats being, well, too woke. What do you think, Danielle?
I can't say what I really think because it is I don't want to get an FCC violation. But those are the questions, right? Those are the questions, and that's why Democrats feel like they have to cosplay as Republicans in order to get people's votes. You see, the reason why Democrats are losing votes and the reason why we keep having these circle jerk conversations is because Democrats actually don't have any integrity. We know that MAGA has no morals, right? But what we've been told over generations is that Democrats actually are for and about the people, but yet they don't stand for the people or with them. That any time that there is some type of complication or some type of inconvenience to the perpetuation of their status quo, what do? They throw those people under the bus. Yeah, one day it was black people, the next day it's trans people, the next day it's women, the next day it's somebody else, because Democrats are not about progress. They're about upholding and maintaining the status quo. And at a time when we are watching decades worth of policies be eroded, erased, and thrown in the trash, like, here's the thing, Waj, I'm not looking to Democrats to save me. I'm not
Nope.
looking to have a conversation about whether or not Donald Trump is a racist. Like, that's like, do we have this kind of time to waste in fascism? Because I'm pretty sure that the fucking clock is moving. Tell me your thoughts.
No, no, I'm the same, which is why for 10 years, and even when I used to be invited on cable news, and even when I had a contract with CNN for a year, and even when I was on MSNBC, you saw me. I have all the receipts. I was the one openly saying racist. I was openly using the words white supremacist. I was openly using the word fascist, the word authoritarian. You and me said he won't leave. We were mocked and ridiculed. I have all the tweets. Go see it. I'm like, you don't understand this regime. You don't understand where they're going. And people are like, ha ha ha, you have Trump derangement syndrome. And that wasn't even MAGA. That was the centrists, right? Well, what happened in January 6th? We saw. And even now, what happened? He has pardoned the 1,600 people. And what has happened? You have seen literally, I think yesterday, this came out where now foreign visas, right? Student foreign visas, they're going to do audits and checks of their social media, right? In the free country where we have free speech, right? They're going to pause student foreign visas from coming and do a complete audit, right? And see who are the good ones that are going to come in.
Don't
And
come.
yeah,
Don't my
why
lesson,
don't you come?
my message to foreign students, don't come here.
Why
Don't
would
come
you come?
here.
Yeah, I would not. I wouldn't. Why would you want to come to this regime, this racist regime, which is now attacking Harvard, right? And Harvard, thankfully, is suing. They want to get rid of Harvard's foreign student population, about a quarter of the population, right? These foreign students, they bring in money. These foreign students are the best of the best, the smartest folks. They come in, they help this country, right? They take jobs, they advance us with medicine, engineering. And now what we're saying is because we're so beholden to white supremacy, we want a brain drain. We want you to flee and go to other countries. And oh, the best of the best of the rest of the world, don't bring your money here. Tourism has gone down, right? All these other countries you've seen across the board, it's not just Europe, they're not spending their money in the United States of America in the summer. Plus, there's a trade war, right? This is all for white supremacy. And this just happened today. Uh, just to go to show you that this is a 79-year-old man, as we're talking about Joe Biden and his health, mother effing Jake Tapper, who used to be a colleague of mine, just spineless piece of shit. I rarely swear, but he's really pissed me off.
I'm telling
Just
you, Waj is a brand new fascism turned Waj into a brand new Waj, y'all.
because look at him. Him and Alex Thompson, this other piece of crap from Axios, are still hawking this book. Fine, hawk the book, right? But Joe Biden isn't president, folks. He's 82 years old. Who's the president right now? Donald Trump. Who's fallen asleep 3 times in public settings? Donald Trump. Who spent a quarter of his presidency golfing? Donald Trump. Who has openly said, I don't know what the Congo is? Donald Trump. Who looks morbidly obese? Donald Trump. And today, reporter, I don't know if you saw this. When could the administration resume interviews for foreign student visas? Trump. On what? Reporter. Foreign student visas. Trump. For the French? Reporter. All the foreign students. Trump. What are you referring? Foreign visas for what? Danielle. This is
I,
Stephen
you
Miller. He
know,
doesn't even know
like,
what's happening. It's Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is a
but
white
that's, I mean, but
supremacist.
this is the thing. This is the thing that, I wish. Look, this is the reason why people are here on Substack. This is the reason why they watch us on Mondays and Fridays on YouTube. It's because mainstream corporate media is a failure. It's because instead of digging in and asking the questions about why Donald Trump seems to be falling asleep, why he doesn't seem to know what day it is or where he is, why it seems that he has a lot of people that are pulling his strings from behind the scene, and why he's so easily swayed, whether it's when what's her face? Loomer walks into his office, or whether Stephen Miller walks into his office, or whether Elon Musk is whispering in his ear, that he's so easily malleable by anybody that is around him. It's because he is not functionally well. right? That he is not all fucking there. And instead of interrogating where we are with this current administration, you got the Jake Tappers of the world that want to make money off of where was Joe Biden? I don't care where Joe Biden is right now. Joe Biden is tending to his cancer right now, and he's not the leader of the United States. So, what he is doing as a private citizen, I don't give a fuck about.
But Danielle Moody, don't you care that the Democratic establishment lied to the American people? I mean, Democrats hid Joe Biden's health. Why aren't you concerned, Danielle? That is what you would get on cable news. And my retort to that is, okay, great. We know that he was old. He shouldn't have run for a second term. He should have stayed to his original commitment. The Democratic establishment right now has the lowest favorability rating. But what is the leading news? Oh, I don't know. Maybe us going towards fascism. Maybe, oh, I don't know, MAGA and Donald Trump, who control the House, the Senate, the White House, the media, and Supreme Court, passing this bill that will take away Medicaid. Maybe, oh, I don't know, open corruption and grifting of the current administration, where he just accepted a $400 million Qatari plane, and we just found out that he pardoned a tax cheat whose mother spent $1 million, right, to buy this Trump meme coin. That happened 2 days ago, right? Oh yeah, and the dinner where he literally is like, I will auction off access to me, whoever buys this meme coin. The same meme coin that has gotten me and my family what $350 million. Jimmy Carter had to sell his peanut farm. Donald Trump
Hmm.
is openly hosting pretty much I'm a two-bit hooker. Come, let spread my legs. Give me your
Yes,
money. Give me your money.
yes.
Whoever spends the most money, you'll get access to the White House and a tour. And what do you want? And then you had a quote from people from foreign countries off the record saying, we are literally spending money to buy this stupid coin to get access. So it's pay for play, quid pro quo. The White House literally is for sale. That is corruption happening in real sight. Literal corruption where the guy who is a tax cheat gets pardoned because his mother spends $1 million to buy this meme coin. That literally happened this week. The dinner happened last week. Donald Trump accepts a $400 million luxury plane from Qatar last week, literally happening in real time. And the corporate media is like, but Biden, literally, they're ending this program. We just found out an hour ago that was one of the most successful programs for minority and women owned businesses with the explicit intention to help those businesses established 40 years ago. And the Trump administration sided with white, a mediocre, whiny white. Meh, I have to compete with the whites and the people of color, right? Endless grievance, right? Endless grievance. South Afrikaners who aren't refugees. We want to come to America. Meh. Yeah, you come, white at South Afrikaners. And then when you ask the Trump administration, Secretary of State official Landau, remember that 2 weeks ago? Why are you denying Afghans and Cubans and El Salvadorans? And why are you bringing in these South
Well,
Africans? What do you
because
think?
Waj, they can't assimilate. You
Boom.
know, they
That was the
can't
quote.
they can't assimilate. And by assimilate, they mean that they're not white. So they will stand out, right? That they're bringing their culture and their food and their traditions that just are not quote unquote American, right? So look, here's the thing. We don't have to debate anymore whether or not Donald Trump is a racist. We don't have to debate whether or not we're actually sliding into fascism or we're in fascism, right? It's like having a debate about whether or not the sky is blue and the sun is hot. The fact of the matter is, we are here. We are here with white nationalists running the country. We are here as the world around us is figuring out how to deal without America. We are seeing now that countries don't want to come here, that people don't want to come here. Tourism is down, as you said, that people are dying from preventable diseases, and it's only going to get worse because of their bullshit budget bill that is surely going to kill millions of Americans, right? By cutting them off from Medicaid and Medicare, and by making sure that we don't have access to vaccines or have access to information. The question now is that I have for you, Waj, is this now enough? Has America gotten enough in this last 4.5 months? How much more needs to happen in this country for collective action? And by collective action, right, I don't mean what Indivisible and 5501 is doing. I think that those marches are fantastic. When I say collective action, I am talking about a national boycott. I am talking about grinding this country to a halt. When is enough going to be enough? How many more people, Waj, do you think? How many more communities do you think need to be forced into manufactured desperation in order for the collective to realize that there is no escaping, there is no riding out the wave of the Trump regime, that this is a tsunami that we're riding on acid to a fucking shore of sharp knives?
More. More bodies, more pain, more death, more deportations. Americans are notoriously stubborn, self-destructive, arrogant, and as Gore Vidal used to say, it's the United States of amnesia. I have friends, I've talked to you about this, people of color, Muslims, South Asians who survived 9/11, right? If you all remember the madness, the chaos of 9/11, especially what happened to Muslim communities and those who look Muslim, not just Muslim, but Sikh Americans, right? Or people who spoke out against the war, people like myself and others. I mean, this country lost its damn mind. These are the people, Daniel, who survived through that. And I've said this before on our Substacks and our videos. It's a saying, kind of a colloquialism in Urdu, and I'll translate it. A lot of those people went tuss. And what does tuss mean? Imagine the tire being deflated. Tuss. Tuss means, you move on up like the Jeffersons. You go to college, you graduate, you're a student. Now you're not a student. Now you have a job. Now now you're in the corporate law firm. Now you're a partner. Now you're the chief resident, right? Now you've moved on up to the suburbs. You moved on up to the gated communities. Now you're on the golf course. Now you golf with Chet and Chad and Oakley. You have a Tesla. You might have two Teslas, right? Your kid goes to private school. In fact, your kid might even be homeschooled. You take some nice vacations. It's been a while since you were a starving student. It's been a while since you remember the FBI knocking on your door. It's been a while since you remember that really whack case in your neighborhood where they, indicted that innocent community. It's been a while since you remember the war on terror and the Muslim ban. Did it really affect you? No, it didn't. Donald Trump tried, but he failed. The guardrails held. And yeah, things are bad, but the trains are still running, and you still have your Tesla, and the internet's still on, and you enjoy your Negroni and you enjoy your cappuccino. And sure, some people are being affected, but it hasn't affected you yet. And so, hey, it's okay. Things will be fine. Yeah, they'll go after the undocumented. They'll go after the blacks. They'll go after the gays. It's kind of too much, the gays, right? Let's be honest. Especially the trans, too much. The poor, aren't they lazy? I worked hard. And so, sure, it's not good. And I'm worried. But people like Waj and Danielle, they're just alarmists. I mean, look, the trains are running. I took the Amtrak to New York, and my kids are okay. And so, if you just keep your head down, things will work out. And then the 2026 midterms, the Democrats will win. So don't worry. That's my answer to your question. Too much, folks?
Don't worry. Don't worry. Well, that is what selfishness and siloed behavior and thinking, that is where we are. We're not just here because of a spineless Democratic Party that has no integrity and no path forward. We're not just here because of a rabid Republican Party that is so like lacking in themselves that they need to cause as much pain as possible so that they don't have to stop and look at themselves and think to themselves, wow, if these black people, if these gay people, if they're not around, like, oh, can I achieve? Well, you'll find out soon enough, won't you? Because you won't have anybody to fucking blame about the planes falling out of the sky or about this or that happening, because you won't have the black person or the woman or the trans person to blame for your inadequacy. And then at some point, you'll have to face the mirror. But like I've said before, they'd rather shatter the mirror and walk on glass than actually
Absolutely.
deal with themselves. So here we are, here we find ourselves, and knowing that we're not writing this out, knowing that we contributed to the fact that we are here. That's the point that people have to get. This did not just happen to you,
No.
right? This did not just happen to us. It didn't just happen to America. Oh my God, America succumbed to Trumpism. No, it was because everybody got too fucking comfortable, was concerned with their own with their own front door, were concerned with what their kids were doing. Fuck your kids, my kids are good, right?
Yep.
Were concerned with themselves and thinking that every single inch that fascism and cruelty were making towards your door, that your door was behind a gated community and a gated wall and with a security guard, and you were going to be okay. This is parable of the sower times a million. Right? The fact is that if we don't stop thinking about ourselves and start thinking about the collective, that my kids matter just as much as your fucking kids do, and if that your kids can't read and they don't have a school that is up to par, then that is going to affect me as well, right? And I don't just do things for my benefit, I do things for the benefit of the collective. And what Donald Trump and MAGA were able to do is that they were able to feed on our greed, and they were able to feed on our siloed thinking, right? That everyone else is the problem and I don't have to deal with them. I can just bury my head in the sand, and maybe I vote every 2 to 4 years, or maybe I don't. But it doesn't matter because I don't have to pay attention to democracy. It'll just keep on keeping on. And the fact of the matter is that our collective ostrich mentality is what has gotten us here. Thinking that, oh my God, daddy will fix it for us, won't
No.
he? Daddy will come in and he will make it all right, and I don't have to think anymore. That's why we're here. So the collective awakening, right? They hate wokeness. So let me go to new age thinking. The collective awakening that is needed, unfortunately, is going to require an enormous amount of pain. And I was just reading the other day, I started reading New Earth by Eckhart Tolle, an oldie but a goodie that I haven't read yet. And so I started it, even though it was on Oprah's book club like 10 years in
Yeah, many years
2015.
ago, right?
Yeah, about 10 years ago. And it's now making a comeback. And one of the things that Eckhart Tolle says is that you need obstacles in order to have evolution. That is what makes us into the resilient human beings that we are. And we can look around ourselves and see who has never faced any adversity whatsoever. Adversity is necessary for evolution. And so the only way that I manage was to move through this moment is to think to myself that too many people have been living inside of this protective shell. And now, when everyone experiences what Black people in
Yeah.
this country have experienced for, I don't know, hundreds of years, now everyone experiences the fear of what it's like to live inside their own body as trans people, right? And Black people are experiencing, and other people of color have experienced. Now, maybe we'll be like, huh, we should do something about this. But it is not going to function by us just posting our noses up, hoping that one nostril will provide us with enough oxygen. We actually have to lift each other up, right? So that we can figure out how we want to breathe and how we want to fucking move forward.
And what we're also witnessing is a collective failure of imagination, right? Because we as Americans, especially if you compare ourselves to so many other people who live around the world, I've been lucky enough to travel the six of the seven continents. We're very lucky. We're very privileged. And privilege, what does it make you? Tuss. It gets you a little gut. 15 pounds, you get used to the oat milk, you get used to the internet running well. Look, I have family in Pakistan. There's load shedding. They don't even get internet. They don't even get electricity, right? For like 12, 24 hours a day, right? So you get very comfortable, Danielle. And the curse of comfortability is you lose, you atrophy the imagination. Can't happen here. Won't happen to me. This is the United States of America. And the failure of imagination then collectively makes you complicit, right? I'll be okay. Someone else will do the job. I can outsource this to Iron Man. Iron Man ain't coming. And speaking of Black people, they've never had a failure of imagination because they've always had to endure an oppressive country with the boot on its neck, right? They have had to endure terrorism nonstop, right? So for them, they're in it. And that's why you mentioned the parable of the sower, Octavia Butler. She could not afford a failure of imagination. She had to dive into it. And she just connected the dots, right? Her dystopian science fiction novels or her futuristic novels. She's like, I just saw what was happening now. I connected the dots, fast forward 25 years, right? And so what we're happening right now is a collective failure of imagination, a kind of intentional atrophying to protect people from taking their heads out of the sand and recognizing the reality, right? It's like almost a willful delusion to protect yourself from the pain of reality. Oh, it's not happening. Everything is fine. Everything's fine. Because if you go wait for it, woke, you will see what's in front of you. You will be terrified. You'll be confronted with fear and anxiety, and we hate fear and anxiety. We hate pain. We look away, right? We don't want to see the homeless. We want to live in our gated communities. We don't want to see the poors. Just push it aside, right? But when it's, like you said, at your doorstep, it's in front of you. You have to acknowledge it. You have to confront it. You have to see the stench of greed, capitalism, and racism. And then you have to make a choice. And this is why we also want to indulge in the failure of imagination, because we want to live a life where we delude ourselves into thinking that, eh, we're not complicit. We have no choice. I'm nobody. Well, now you have a choice. What's your choice? Are you going to be on the side of
Hmm.
reformation, or are you going to decide of doing nothing and apathy? And a lot of people are choosing apathy. Who am I, Danielle? I'm nobody. It won't affect me. I'm all right, right? And the problem is, folks, it is fascism comes for everyone.
Everyone.
Fascism comes for everybody. You think you'll be safe drinking your Negroni behind the gated community until you're not. And if you don't believe me, look at Italy, look at Hungary, look at Russia, look at Saudi Arabia. Look right now in the United States of America, where wealthy foreign students, nope, you're done. Wealthy students in Harvard, nope, you're done. Uh, Pete Hegseth's own aides in the White House that he didn't trust, yep, he's surveilling them. The whites, the conservative Christian MAGA whites, even they're not safe. And so, what we need is not a failure of imagination. We need to expand our consciousness.
Come
And the
on.
way we do it is first and foremost, be aware. You have to be aware of what's happening in your country, in your local community, right? After you become aware by becoming, oh, I don't know, woke, some would say, to quote Danielle, then you have to become intentional. I make the intention to be aware. To be involved, right? To see with my own eyes and hear with my own ears what's happening. And then I choose to act. I choose to act and do something. So, will you be quiet, or will you be like me and Danielle and call it out? Will you both sides it, or will you say this is a fascist regime, a racist regime? And will you choose to be quiet, or will you choose to speak and act at detriment to yourself? Will you use a little bit of your privilege, whether it's your wealth, your money, your skin tone, your gender, and come out on behalf of the blacks, the women, the Latinos, the foreign students, Abrego Garcia? Or will you sit there, drink your Negroni in your gated community and say, it ain't affecting me? I think, as you can clearly see from the past 25 minutes, Daniel and I have gone all in. We're throwing our stick in the sand and said we're going to go all in. We're not here to quote Danielle, miss us with the bullshit. We are trying to do what we can do on the Substack when we see this news, this very depressing news all around us. I think first and foremost, what happens, what dies in fascism is truth. And if you don't believe me, listen to Timothy Snyder, who wrote the book on fascism. And what he also says is don't obey in advance. So first and foremost, on Democracy Ish and on our podcasts and on the Substack Damn Digest and Left Hook, we don't obey in advance. We
Nope.
call out all the bullshit. We don't bend the knee to anyone, whether it's Democrats or Republicans. We give praise to people who deserve praise. We criticize people who deserve praise. And you have to name a thing for what it is. It's okay. The country is racist. Call it out. It's okay. White supremacist regime, authoritarianism. Name it. Acknowledge it.
Name
Be
it.
awake, right? Call it out, connect the dots, and bring in your community. And the last thing I'll say is, what also dies within fascist regimes is trust and community. And what they have shown is that cynicism, right, and being cynical doesn't actually help you. Cynicism actually atrophies your brain and it atrophies relationships. So I will also say the last thing is indulge, even if you can, in hope. And hope is planned with an action. It's intention with a plan, right? It isn't just sitting on the sidelines. Hope is actually an act. So you have to work, folks. And so I don't need people to sit there and just say, Inshallah, things will get better. As we say, have faith in God, but tie your camel first. And what that means is have faith in God, but do whatever you can, Danielle, with your own two hands to fix your situation. And so it's not just enough for us to sit there and say, Inshallah, things will be better. No, you got to do something. And that includes me, that includes Danielle. And what we're trying to do with our platforms is create a community, an informed community, an empathetic community. We don't both sides. We call it out. We keep everyone informed. There are no paywalls. Damn Digest is free. Subscribe. The Left Hook is free. Subscribe. If you can become a paying subscriber, We were super cheap. We do Democracy Ish Monday and Fridays, 12 p.m. Eastern time. We do a midweek check in. Usually this goes for an hour, but I have Allison on, so I
Yep.
did a rant. I'm sorry, Danielle. I went longer than I thought I would. And we just Danielle and I just pressed play, and this is what we were thinking. Danielle, since I've been rambling for the last 3 minutes, the ball is in your
No,
court.
you're not rambling, and I appreciate you, my friend. And all I will say is this. There is a war on wokeness, there is a war on consciousness, and your greatest tool is critical thinking and to educate yourself and as many people as you possibly can. That is the goal. When people are coming for education and they're coming for books and they're coming for your thought, and now we have thought crimes, and that can get you detained. It is time to educate yourself. So, if you like these shows and you like our conversations and you like Waj's posts, then show up as you do, share, subscribe, post, become a paid subscriber. But the fact of the matter is, education is our greatest weapon right now, and our collective power is our greatest tool. So, with that, my dear friend, I will let you go. Folks, we, Democracy Ish, are back live on Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern, on my YouTube channel, Danielle Moody. So, do head over there and subscribe as well. And stick around for Waj's next interview because he's a busy, busy man.
Yeah, I've got Allison Gill of Mother She Wrote. We're going to talk about the DUI hires in national security, specifically the scandal of Pete Hegseth, which is kind of a big deal. So that's going to be on in 2 minutes. And then Danielle and I are back Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on her YouTube. What's her YouTube, real quick?
Danielle Moody, Moodie underscore, but you can put in Danielle Moody, Moodie. Find me, subscribe.
Take care, everyone. Thank you, Danielle.
Bye.
Bye bye.